All right, thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here, either live or watching the recording of this presentation. You being here and being present for this or watching it on replay shows great engagement on your part, which is so needed at Oak. So we thank you for engagement with showing interest in the club and showing that you care about the status of the club and the direction that it's going in. We appreciate you. We appreciate your feedback and having you here. When we accomplish the goals that are set out in this strategic plan, you will be a part of the best swim club in the country. It is Oak's intent to be leaders in the community sport industry and set the gold standard for swim clubs within the country. And that's what we've set out to do with this strategic plan. We have three major goals for you today, and that is awareness, education, and inspiration. We hope that you leave today with an awareness of the strategic plan, how to access it, what it is, what it's for, and be a little bit more well-informed and educated on what our priorities are as a swim club and the direction that we're heading, which is a very exciting one. And finally, we hope you leave here today excited about where we're headed, about where the club is moving, about the direction it's going, and to be just a little bit more proud to be a part of such a great swim club. With that, I'm going to send it over to Jason, who's going to go through some of the specifics of how we came to this strategic plan.
Thanks, Dave, and hi, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for joining. So for our agenda today, we're really excited to share the following information with you. Basically, we're going to cover the extensive comprehensive process that Oak undertook to build this strategic plan. We're going to share with you our new vision, mission, and values. We're also going to speak about the strategic plan structure, as well as our strategic priorities in detail, essentially. And we really hope you enjoyed the presentation, and we're excited to put this plan into action, like Dave said. So let's start with the process and objectives that we implemented for the strategic plan development. So our top two priorities were to ensure that the plan was professional and thorough in its development. So from a professional perspective, just to let you know that the development of the strategic plan began about a year ago. And it began with a comprehensive RFP process to engage an expert consultant. So Oak selected Capitus Consulting, and you can see Paul Varian is the president here of Capitus Consulting, who we regard as one of the best in the business of amateur sport consulting to guide the project. And Capitus works with many sport organizations, from national sport organizations, provincial sport organizations, and at the community level, and brings a lot of experience, I think, in the industry. Paul Varian was our direct contact, and his support throughout the plan development was exceptional. And I think we really appreciate Paul's help with the process, and are really pleased with sort of what we were able to put together here. In terms of thorough, as I mentioned, the plan development has been ongoing for about a full year. It's basically been a full year project that has included engagement with all of Oak's stakeholders. So that includes our members, our staff, our board of directors, Swim Ontario, Swimming Canada, and the town of Oakville. And we had a really high response rates from all of our surveys and workshops, which is great to see. And we're very confident that this plan is aligned with the overall the overall priorities and objectives of our stakeholder base. So it was really nice to see the engagement. We appreciate your engagement, continued engagement today and ongoing as we develop this plan. But we're really pleased to see so much engagement in the development of the plan, so that we can ensure we've got a plan that sort of meets the kind of needs of our organization. And then, as you can read here, we're excited and honored that someone with Paul's experience believes Oak can be a true leader in Canadian community sport. And I can tell you, if some of you may know, back in 2018, Capitus Consulting engaged with Oakville Aquatic Club to do a governance review report. And I can tell you that Paul will provide his honest and candid assessment of a given situation. So for him to speak this highly of Oak and how far we've come and where he believes that we can kind of get to in the future is something that we're very proud of. And we have, I believe that Oak truly has made great progress over the past 5 years, and these next 4 years will be awesome. So the official plan development began in March 2023 in terms of building the actual strategic plan. Phase 1 was focused around the research and organizational assessment. So this included organizational data analysis, strategic area identification, stakeholder consultations. These would be the workshops and the surveys that we're talking about, environmental scan, and SWOT analysis. So this was, again, a very comprehensive process that looked at policies and procedures that Oak has in place, that looked at feedback from our stakeholders through surveys and workshops, and a bunch of kind of industry and benchmarking review as well. So it was certainly ensuring that the plan is built from a strong foundation and the realities that Oak kind of faces. Phase 2 moved into the strategic plan development, and we'll see a timeline in a second on the next slide. So this was focused mostly around drafting the strategic plan, the testing, the financial planning to ensure that the new strategic priorities that we're looking to implement are funded appropriately, and then a measurement framework, including KPIs and things like that, to make sure that we are tracking and actually accomplishing the objectives that we set out. And then finally, in phase 3, basically, we moved on to the strategic plan finalization. And this is where the presentation and approvals kind of come into play. So all throughout the process, the Oaks board has been instrumental in supporting the project all along the way. And we're very proud to announce that this plan has been approved and is in action. Just to give you a sense, this was essentially a work plan timeline as we worked through those various steps that I just talked about. And onto the vision.
All right. You can see a very comprehensive process. Thank you, Jason. Our vision, this is the underlying essence of what we do at Oak. And that is excelling at swimming is winning at life. And that is kind of our underlying philosophy. It's a slight tweak on our previous vision. But essentially what we're saying is, the swimming is great, but part of the reason we swim is to make better swimmers. And there is an importance in just that in and of itself, becoming a better athlete and swimmer, but that becoming a better swimmer makes you a better person, and that the values that you will acquire throughout your swimming career will help you become successful, happy, and healthy in your life. And that's kind of the whole point of sport, is those lessons learned and the enjoyment of it. So many great values in swimming. As we know, we spend high-level soccer players and hockey players and other sports will spend maybe half as much time at their sport as we do at the pool or the bunker. We spend a tremendous amount of time. It takes so much commitment and dedication and time management and perseverance to swim at this level. A tremendous amount of resiliency. It teaches growth mindset, and all these values are bundled into what we do at the pool. Through the sport, we're also teaching that. And we're also helping our swimmers become better people and support them through the rest of their lives through the sport of swimming. And that is our vision. That is why we do what we do. Next slide is our mission. That is what we do. So our mission is to help people find their purpose and potential through the pursuit of swimming excellence. So everything that we do as staff, as athletes, as volunteers and parents in support of the club and of the athletes is for this. This is our daily mission. So when we come to the pool, if nothing else, all of us here at Oak, this is our purpose. This is our mission. This is what we have to live every day. And I think it's beautiful. The previous mission statement was a little bit lengthy and encompassed a lot of different things and performance measures in there. This is the root of it. We come to the pool to help these athletes find their purpose and their potential through the pursuit of swimming excellence. And everything we do around it is to support that mission. So this is what we want people thinking about in in the back of their minds daily. We want athletes to know it. We want staff and parents and volunteers and all of our stakeholders to know that this is our daily mission. Previously, I think if you asked someone what the mission was at Oak, they would have no idea. Most staff would have no idea. We want this to be, tattooed, so to speak, on us and on our in our books that we open every day. The same as you'll notice our vision statement is now part of most of our email sign-offs. So these are things that we want everyone to be a part of and to really believe in. So that is our mission. Our values, which are extremely important. Obviously, there's so many values, important values in swimming and in the sport. These are the 5 that resonate the most with Oak. And that is based off of the history of Oak, based off of the information that was gathered from this strategic planning from, as Jason mentioned, you guys, the parents and the swimmers, and the staff and the board. These are our 5 big pillars, or pillar values. I would say our core values. So I'll read them off to you. I think they're pretty awesome. Pride. We view Oak as a welcoming and supportive family whose traditions and heritage we uphold and belong to. We are proudly loyal to Oak ahead of any individual or group. So that Oak itself is the most important thing. The club as a whole, the organization as a whole, and it has this pride and excitement attached to our brand and our identity and who we are. Courage. We do not fear the unknown, the threat of failure, or the work required to succeed. Our courage is based in our honesty and trust in one another. I think that could almost be something in and of itself. I think we all felt very passionately about that value as a staff, and I'm sure athletes and parents at home would agree. Commitment. We embrace sustained, disciplined commitment underpinned by an ethos of accountability, whereby we are ultimately responsible for ourselves and our performance is driven by choices we make as individuals. So there's a lot in there, not just commitment, but the accountability piece as well. And I think that's been true at Oak for many, many years. It's been a tradition to be truly committed to the club and to the sport, and it's something that we will carry on. Excellence. We pursue the mission to achieve our best in a manner that is respectful, dignified, and in the spirit of good sportsmanship. So it's more than just excellence. We want to excel at the sport and be the best that we can, but we want to do it the right way. Integrity. We strive to always do the right thing, especially when no one is looking. We respect those around us and their values, customs, and beliefs. We believe that winning without integrity is not winning at all. I think that one speaks for itself. So these values are what's going to shape what does shape the rest of the strategic plan that comes. And I want people to know these just as well as they know the mission, but to think about these values, and everything that we do at the pool is encompassing something touching on one or more of these values every day. And I think if you live up to these values truly, or aspire to live up to them every day as coaches and athletes and parents, we're going to be doing pretty great. Jason, it's going to be back to you to continue on with the strategic plan structure.
So this strategic plan structure and kind of diagram here essentially shows a high-level overview of how this is pieced together. So basically, Oak's strategy for 2028 revolves around 5 intertwined strategic pillars. There is a strong, you'll notice, a strong and intentional emphasis on people. And we do truly highly value growing and investing in our athletes, coaches, staff, and leadership. I'll kind of take you through them. So essentially the 5 pillars are brand and identity, the leadership development, our coach and staff development, athlete development, and facilities. And you'll notice that these pillars, these strategic pillars, are connected through basically the text here in the leaf, which is through community, facilities, and our brand and identity, our organization between brand identity, leadership development, and coaching and staff, the individual, coaches and athletes, and competition, athletes and facilities. As you know, the success of the strategy on the whole revolves around it and relies on the success of all of these intertwined and interconnected pieces working together in harmony. And they are all very important aspects of our strategic plan. So I'm going to dive into a little bit more detail here. So you get to kind of go through the deeper detail. I just want to take a quick note here to let you know that we will make the presentation as well as the detailed strategic plan available for you to read more closely. But this basically will show you sort of the key components and the detail that went into making the strategic plan. So under brand and identity, this pillar speaks about Oak's brand and identity, but we really believe that this pillar is also about Oak's culture. It's about who we are and what we stand for. It's meant to be much more than a marketing exercise, and it's more about alignment with our vision, mission, and values and the way we sort of act on a daily basis. The first item here is conduct a full analysis and repositioning of the Oak brand in line with its agreed vision, mission, and values framework. I won't go through all of these, but just to let you know, we essentially additionally built a performance measure, in this case, brand conviction, as well as KPIs that we will work towards and intend to accomplish by the end of the strategic plan. And in this situation, basically, membership brand conviction would align with Oak values at a greater than 70% in terms of survey results. Next one is establishing a marketing and communications plan, an associated marketing management program to cement Oak's identity in the minds of its stakeholders. Having a vision, mission, values is one thing, but if it sits on the shelf and isn't involved in day-to-day, marketing and branding is a component of that, but living it in the daily interactions with the organization is probably a bigger part of that. This is making the strategic plan and our values real. Developing a parent-directed education program that inspires parents to actively support Oak's vision, mission, values, technical planning and training, competition programming. So a big component around parent education. And open communication channels with our parents and membership. Harnessing corporate partners that strengthen Oak's brand and overall identity. This one speaks to sponsorship revenue, essentially bringing in external corporate sponsors. And the last one under brand and identity, establish a structured Oak Swimmer alumni and program that is deploy it to spearhead long-term fundraising campaigns. So again, connecting with our membership beyond just their years here at Oak. And I know we have a lot of Oak alumni in our membership and connected to the club in some ways. And we want to take another step, I think, here in terms of moving that objective forward. The next pillar is leadership development. This one talks about a lot about our leadership teams, board of directors, and things like that. So again, 5 kind of categories here. Institute annual governance training and structured onboarding for the board of directors and board collectively following the club's annual general meeting. I can tell you the board and management team did engage in this process just a couple of weeks ago. And I think this is a great way of ensuring kind of a long-term consistency in terms of leadership for an organization is to have that onboarding process. The next one, establish quarterly board and professional development sessions focused on maintaining a consistent governance leadership from all directors and the board collectively. So again, board development, board education, and alignment with best practices. Oh, sorry. Number 3 here, create a clear succession planning for the board of directors, in particular the board's officers' positions that is integrated with the board's committee structure. So again, consistency in leadership is absolutely one of the fundamental strengths of good organizations, I think, and this shows kind of continued efforts on that front. The number 4 here, we've got develop an in-house leadership development program for existing and potential management personnel geared at building the strongest management team in Canadian swimming. So truly investing in our operational leaders here, everyone from management in terms of directors and leaders in the coaching, as well as on the dry side in the office. And number 5, integrating Oak's leadership initiatives with those established by Swim Ontario, Swim Canada, and the Coaching Association to make sure that we are aligning with our governing bodies and other leadership organizations in the country.
Awesome. Thank you, Jason. Over to me. And just so everyone knows, this will be made available to all of you. We'll let you know how to access the strat plan in case you're missing anything. We want you to be able to go back and reference it and review it. Athlete development. Obviously, this is a cornerstone pillar. We're not a club without our swimmers. The whole point and our whole mission is about the swimmers. So this is super important in terms of what our strategic plan is. So our 5 points in athlete development here for our strategic priorities. Number 1, establish and implement a club-wide technical plan based on long-term athlete development principles that shows how Oak's training programs and transition between them and associated competition translate into swimmers development at Oak. So, we're operating on a new structure this year, new group structure. And as we settle into that, we are going to build out a technical plan that will be a living document and evolve over a number of years that will sort of show the competencies and goals for each club and level as you move through the club and show you how athletes can continue to improve and be successful in the sport and be a guideline for coaches and also a guide for parents and athletes to see what needs to be accomplished at each level and what the goals are for the athletes to move into the various groups. So that's a major project and one that we are taking on collaboratively as a staff led by the coaches. Second, to drive more advanced training techniques into Oak Swim programs, including leveraging new technologies, refining training technique, and advanced analytics. This is something that we've already started to do even before this strat plan was created. We have invested in underwater cameras and iPads, using them more, but we have invested in them and they're there and they're fantastic teaching tools and coaching tools. We also have some very talented people on staff who are incorporating and helping us with our analytics so far, specifically in terms of measuring the volume that each group is training, the amount of kick and pull and swim that each group is doing, so we can have natural progressions throughout the club that will inform our athlete development model. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. We have a lot more that's coming down the pipeline. Third, increase annual headless retention of swimmers in the under 11 to under 14 age group in line with the top levels in Canada. We want to keep our athletes in swimming and we want to keep our athletes at Oak. And if you're doing those things, it means you're enjoying the sport, it means you're improving, it means you're happy here, and specifically targeting that age group because it's a crucial age group in terms of the health and vitality of the club. And often where you'll see where Oak has struggled in the past and where you'll see losing swimmers to other sports or other clubs, we want every swimmer to be able to be successful and continue pursuing the sport here at Oak. Fourth, to establish training quality that consistently produces in-pool performances and results to reflect Oak's commitment to excellence. So those from that, the coaching staff will develop what our performance metrics are in that regard. But we want to be performing well. We want to be one of the best clubs in the country. We want to be the best club in the country, and that includes performance. And again, we're going to do that the right way by developing long-term skills and growth mindset, developing kids the right way. But if we're doing all those things well at the foundational levels and supporting our athletes properly and our coaching staff properly, then we should see top performances at the upper echelon of the club. Finally, actively implement all safe sport policies and protocols to ensure athletes are developed in a safe and respectful environment. This goes without saying. Oak already strives and does a good job to train our staff on safe sport principles. We have a comprehensive policy manual to help inform that and keep everyone in a safe environment. And I think that is essential. That has to come before any of the performances or development can. All right, moving forward. Coach and staff development. Without coach and staff, there's no one to help the athletes and to guide them along and to move them forward. So obviously, coaches and staff are critical. Our first pillar or for strategic priority in this section is to refine Oak's onboarding process for staff that outlines Oak's vision, mission, values, strategic and technical plans, together with training on safe sport protocols and Oak's full policy bank. So we want coaches, whether they're new, obviously, or are returning every year, to remind ourselves, what is our purpose? What is our mission? What is our daily mission? And what are we here to do? What are our values? This strat plan and especially our technical plans. And I think that's a process that we've already started. You might have seen that here in this photo here on the bottom right, our staff did a coach retreat, or staff retreat this year, to go over and actually review the draft of the strategic plan, amongst other things, and to make sure that we're on the same page. Something that we're committed to is that having a unified and informed staff, and also to commit to professional development for our staff. Second, establish structured annual evaluations of all Oak staff and coaches that include, where appropriate, personalized development programs to match employee development goals over the forthcoming year. This is a process we started last year. Not many swim clubs do formal kind of performance evaluations or check-ins and professional development check-ins with their staff, but it's something that we're committed to doing with our staff. Because we want to invest in our people. We want our people to grow with the club and create the best coaches and staff in the country, develop the best coaches and staff in the country. Third, build a system of team building among all Oak swim coaches that facilitates cross-learning, mentoring, buddy systems, and a social element that builds friendships, camaraderie, and a sense of belonging among all Oak coaches. I can tell you, these are a little bit harder to measure. It's going to be the coach's kind of judgment, but I can tell you that it's already night and day compared to where Oak was at this point last year or in previous years. We have a tremendous staff that is really committed to more than just the time that you see it for them on the pool deck. Behind the scenes, we are meeting as a staff frequently, and we are pushing our culture forward and having those honest conversations amongst the staff and bonding as a staff. And I think that we're really moving in the right direction. And with the staff unified, I know that will create more of a team culture within our athletes and within our team. And we have certain strategies in place that we've already employed, like the Buddy Day system, amongst other things, to encourage our athletes to go outside their immediate circle. Fourth, establish a plan to promote Oak as the go-to development center for Canada's best swim coaches that attracts and accrues coaches that builds a world-class coaching team. This goes without saying. This doesn't mean we're out there trying to poach coaches. We're really happy with the staff that we have, and we're going to develop the staff that we have. But we want to be known as a place that builds a legacy. I come from a club, two clubs, but certainly my first club, Point Claire Swim Club, that has that element and tradition. There are so many Point Claire swim coaches that are spread out throughout the country and influencing the sport of swimming in Canada in such a positive way. There's myself. I can go Ryan Millette, the head performance coach at the High Performance Center of Toronto. Ken McKinnon, who's the national development coach, who's actually working with us and was one of the respondents on this survey from Swim Canada. And the list goes on and on. At Oak, we want to grow our staff into leaders in the industry and create a legacy that helps grow the sport across the country. Fifth, establish a system of recognition and reward for all Oak staff. And that is just to recognize the job that our coaches are doing and our staff are doing, and to make sure that they're happy. All right, number 5, facilities. This is a fun one, a big one. Obviously, this is in big and large part has to do with our relationship with the town of Oakville and surrounding areas. We are committed to providing the best that we can to our athletes and to our coaches. I think that the Oak Bunker showcases this. To have a home base like the Bunker, with offices fully loaded with computers and desks and a boardroom where our staff goes on a daily basis, with an Oak store and a central hub for our coaches to meet. Our coaches are in there frequently, officially twice a week, to sit down at the table and hash out these items that are coming from our strategic direction, and to have that dryland space with a dryland coach that is all leading in the industry. No other swim club or most amateur sport organizations has access to a home base like this. So we're really proud of the bunker. So we think that that is a good shining example of sport excellence in terms of facilities. We aspire to do the same for our swim pool facilities. We spent, Jason could say, countless hours with the town on air quality over the past year, and we've seen tremendous improvement. So that's another example of how we're moving that needle forward one step at a time. Might seem small, but it's proven to be to create a tremendous difference for athletes in terms of the environment. So to go through these 5 points here, establish a plan to move to develop Oak's own privately owned and operated aquatic training center, and or establish a partnership with the town of Oakville to build an aquatic training center in and around Oakville, ideally including a 50-meter pool. So that objective is to have a plan in place for if an opportunity presents itself. Have a very detailed plan from top to bottom. Whether that opportunity presents itself or not is another question, but we are committed to being ready for any opportunity. We don't want to be caught sitting on our hands, so to speak. Second, to establish a plan to maximize the training value from the White Oaks Pool facility. And the reason that is in there, you saw during the strike, we were able to use White Oaks, thankfully, and have exclusive access to that facility. And that is in large part because of the relationship that we have with the town of Oakville that we've built over a number of years, but especially over this past year, and pushed professionally and appropriately to have more time and more access. And there are indications that we may be able to get more access at that White Oaks pool and kind of make that a home base, which would be fantastic, especially with the new and improved air quality that's there. Third, establish a plan to unlock the commercial value of the bunker and monetize its value. So we have this great bunker space and this dryland space used fully during the evenings, but sits empty a lot of the rest of the time. And that is of value, and that could provide some extra cash inflow for the club. So that is something that we will prioritize moving forward. 4, to establish a plan to maintain the quality of the Oak Bunker space. So I talked in length about how proud we are of that bunker space. We want to keep it as such. We invested some money this year in some fantastic renovations to the space. If you saw it, if you've seen it this year and saw the previous iteration of it, you'll see where that money went. It's fantastic. It's a great space, both the dryland space and our office space up front. And finally, to work with the town of Oakville to maximize access to Oakville-based pool facilities to Oak swimmers. Again, something that we're always pushing for. We are in a great spot as a club that we have wait lists for a lot of our programming. We have people waiting to get in and access Oak, and so we need more space. So we're always pushing to have more and better space and more quality time from the town to make sure that we can offer the best programming possible. All right, that comes to the end of our presentation. So I hope that everyone gets from this presentation that this strategic plan is not going to be a document that sits on the shelf. It's not a box that we're checking. A lot of time and energy went into the creation of this plan, and it's informed by you. It's informed by our board of directors. It's informed by our staff and our coaches, and we've all taken ownership in what this plan is. And it means a lot to us. So we intend to live the values set out in this plan and the mission on a daily basis. And we intend to set out the objectives stemming from this strategic plan. And we hope that you get a sense of that, and hope you have a little bit more information as to where we're going and a little bit of pride about the club.